Arrival. The rain hadn't stopped in hours. It was the kind of rain that didn't just fall, it pressed against the earth like a warning. A cold, insistent curtain that turned everything outside into dripping silhouettes. Headlights barely cut through the mist as Dr. Meredith Lane pulled into the lot of the Somnoa Sleep Research Center, tires hissing across slick asphalt. Her wipers fought a losing battle as water pounded the windshield like fingers trying to get in. She sat there for a moment, engine idling, staring up at the building. The center wasn't much to look at, just a squat, brutalist block of concrete with narrow slit windows only on the top floor, where the offices were. No pretense of warmth. No pretense at all. Just research. Inside, the warmth hit like a slap. Sterile, recycled air. Too clean. Too still. It smelled faintly of bleach and dry carpet. The nurse at the front desk, Lily, gave her a tired smile, eyes shadowed with lack of sleep. Dr. Lane. Room assignments are in your folder. Subjects are prepped and wired. Meredith took the folder with a nod, flipping it open as she walked. 6 participants. Handpicked. Chronic insomnia, parasomnias, recurring nightmares. All otherwise physically healthy. Ideal test group for the new REM pattern mapping tech, designed to isolate neural anomalies during dream states. She passed the long corridor of sleeping rooms, white-painted steel doors with tiny windows, each like a cell in a futuristic asylum. Each subject lay monitored by sensors, chest leads, scalp electrodes, infrared cameras. Machines blinked softly beside them. In the control room, soft blips and hums surrounded her. Each participant's feed was live, EEG readings, heart rate, respiration, audio. To the untrained eye, it looked like data overload. But Meredith knew the patterns intimately. She could read dreams like weather maps. Room 3 blinked red, then green again. Meredith frowned. By midnight, 5 of the 6 subjects had dropped into REM sleep. Brainwave patterns rolled like waves. Theta spikes. Sporadic bursts in the temporal lobe. Textbook. Except for room 2. Daniel Hurst. Ex-military. 28. Unmedicated PTSD and frequent night terrors. His vitals spiked suddenly, heart rate accelerating, brainwave pattern surging into chaotic bursts. Then came the voice. "Don't go near the tree." Meredith froze. She blinked, rewound the audio, played it again. Clear as glass. Switching quickly, she checked room 4. Sandra Kim, schoolteacher. Mild anxiety, but no trauma. Level-headed. Her voice broke the silence minutes later. It watches from the tree. Eyes in the dark. Meredith's hand went cold on the mouse. 2 unrelated subjects. Same dream image. Same wording. She pulled both audio streams, played them side by side. Different tones. Different cadences. Same phrases. Identical nightmare content. At 3:12 a.m., room SIXS vitals flatlined. Jonah Willis. 33. Graphic designer. Clean bill of health. By the time they reached him, he was already stiff. Eyes open. Frozen in a rictus of pure fear. His last words caught on the microphone, whispered as if to someone just beyond the veil. "It reached me." He died facing the corner of the room, as if something had loomed there, watching him all night long. The coroner called it night terror-induced cardiac arrest. But Meredith wasn't satisfied. She reviewed the morning's post-sleep interviews. Daniel, a forest. Thick fog. 1 tree in the middle. Dead, but wrong. Like it could move. Sandra, there was this tree. Black bark, but soft, almost wet. It stared at me. Amira, room 1. I heard something calling me. From the tree. It whispered things. Even Jonah's final sleep log mentioned a tree, dead tree. Something inside it. Something waiting. Meredith highlighted the repeated words in the printed transcripts. Tree. Eyes. Whisper. She climbed the stairs to the 2nd floor, to the old office of Dr. Ethan Rourke, the clinic's founder. Semi-retired, More myth than man these days. He greeted her slowly, like someone already halfway out the door of life. His office smelled of pipe smoke and old paper. She laid the data on his desk, page after page. When she finished, he was silent. Then, softly, "It's happened before." Her spine stiffened. "What?" "Years ago. Early days. When we started experimenting with dream induction clusters, trying to see if we could manipulate shared REM states." She leaned in. "You're telling me people shared the same dream?" He didn't answer. He simply reached into an old drawer, pulled out a yellowing folder, and slid it toward her. Inside, transcripts, EEG charts, and crude sketches. The same tree. Hollow trunk. Branches sharp as bone. Something inside. "We shut the study down after 2 subjects became catatonic," he said. "They said something came through. Something that wasn't supposed to. It followed them back." The second night, she stared at the drawing. It looked just like what Jonah had described. "What is it?" "We never gave it a name. Some started calling it the REM entity." "Is it real?" He looked at her with tired, sunken eyes. "I think the mind is a door, Dr. Lane. And sometimes, dreams are the key." Meredith considered shutting down the study. But the remaining 5 subjects insisted on continuing. They claimed they felt safer monitored, in a lab. That night, Meredith didn't leave the control room. She watched every second, eyes wide, fingertips trembling. At 1:33 a.m., Daniel convulsed, then sat bolt upright. "It moved," he shouted. "It moved this time." Sandra whimpered through the mic closer. "It knows we're watching." Miguel Alvarez, room 5, previously stable, began clawing at his own arms, screaming, "In me! It's in me!" Lily sedated him while Meredith watched helplessly. At 4:06 a.m., the lights flickered. The power died. The generator kicked in. All systems restarted, except room 1. Amira was gone. No signs of exit. Bed still made. Doors still locked from the outside. Security footage showed static, then one frame of her sleeping, and nothing. Just an empty bed. "How do you vanish from a locked room?" Lily asked, voice shaking. Meredith stared at the screen. "You don't," she whispered. "Unless you never woke up." Day 3. 4 subjects left. Meredith tried to discharge them all. None of them would go. Daniel was firm. "I sleep out there, it'll find me faster." Sandra gripped her arm tightly, eyes glassy. "We brought it too close. It's hungry now." Miguel huddled in the corner near the supply closet, whispering to himself, arms wrapped tightly around his knees. "It's in my blood. I can feel it inside me." Meredith didn't argue. She knew the futility of logic now. She buried herself in Ethan's notes, retracing every page, every margin-scrawled theory. He and Jonah had been circling a hypothesis, a psychic resonance, a theoretical condition where overlapping dream states might act like synchronized frequencies. Openings. Gateways. Certain imagery acts like a key, Ethan had written. Symbols carried in the collective subconscious. Archetypes, myths, trees, doors. The tree. The image that bound all the dreams together. A landmark. An anchor. But to what? Jonah's final EEG wasn't noise. It wasn't chaos. It was a rhythm. A loop. Not a seizure. Not a hallucination. A pulse. Someone or something was transmitting. Or calling. She called Ethan. Again and again. No answer. Voicemail full. At 9:17 p.m., she got in her car and drove the 12 miles to his house. It was dark. No lights. The front door hung open. Inside, the smell of copper hit her like a wall. His bedroom was still. Blood trailed from the hall, pooled on the carpet, smeared on the wallpaper. And then on the far wall, painted with deliberate, fluid strokes, in blood still wet. The door is open. No Ethan. No sign of a struggle. No body. Just that message. She backed out slowly, locking the door behind her out of reflex, though she knew it meant nothing now. Back at the lab, everything had unraveled. Miguel was dead. Overdose. Every pill in the cabinet. Slumped in the hallway, blood in his mouth, a peaceful look on his face. One word scribbled onto his intake chart in shaky pen. Roots. Daniel and Sandra refused to be alone. They camped out in the lounge, blankets pulled tight, eyes ringed with exhaustion. The TV played static. Every few minutes, the lights would flicker and Sandra would flinch. Meredith sat with them, her journal open on her lap, but untouched. She stared at the monitor readouts, brainwaves still spiking even while they were wide awake. "How long can we go without sleep?" she asked quietly, to no one in particular. Daniel laughed bitterly. "Long enough to wish you hadn't." Silence. Then Meredith said it. "What if it's not just a dream? What if we created a bridge? What if the connection, the resonance, didn't just let us in, but let it out?" Daniel didn't turn his head. "I saw it last night," he murmured. The tree opened. Like a mouth. Sandra's voice was hoarse. "It was inside me, looking out through my eyes, and none of them could tell if they were still awake." The three of them sat in a triangle of light, surrounded by a sea of darkness. Every overhead lamp in the lounge was switched on, but still, the shadows in the corners felt too thick, like they were absorbing the light instead of retreating from it. They were all unraveling. Daniel twitched with every sound. Sandra hadn't spoken in over an hour. Meredith sat with a notebook in her lap, but the pen trembled in her fingers, unable to write a single word. Time crawled. 2 a.m. 2:41 a.m. Then, 3:03 a.m. Sandra jerked suddenly, knocking over her tea. Her hands flew to her temples as she let out a ragged scream. Meredith leapt to her side, catching her as her body began convulsing. Full body seizure. Blood bubbled at the corners of her mouth. Monitors on the wall lit up, surging with impossible readings. Brainwave activity spiked. REM stage intensity maxed out. She wasn't asleep. She wasn't awake. She was being pulled. Meredith shouted for help, slapped her cheeks, pinched her arms. No response. Sandra's eyes rolled back, and her lips parted, not in breath, but in a slow, silent word. Roots. Then came the hum. Low. Deep. Vibrating through the walls and the floor. Like machinery beneath the world awakening from dormancy. The monitors flickered. The lights buzzed, dimmed, then surged unnaturally bright before exploding in a shower of sparks. Darkness swallowed the room. Meredith staggered up, half-blinded by afterimages. From the hallway, Daniel's scream. Piercing. Unnatural. She bolted from the lounge, heart pounding. Daniel stood at the end of the corridor. Unmoving. Staring. His silhouette wavered like static. "Daniel," she called. "Come back. We have to go." He turned slowly. His eyes were pools of ink. "It's awake," he said, voice distant as if coming from underwater. Then he stepped backward into the dark. And vanished. Not like a person walking out of sight. Like he was unwritten. Erased. Reality shuddered. Meredith froze as the corridor filled with a scent like burnt wood and damp soil. From the dark beyond where Daniel had stood, something emerged. Not footsteps. Not breathing. A presence. The shadows twisted, stretched, and began to form something more. Not a person. Not an animal. A tree. But not of this world. Not bark or leaves or roots. This was made of void, its trunk a vertical wound in the air, hollow and bleeding whispers. Its branches unfurled like tendrils of smoke, stretching across the ceiling, touching walls that hissed in response. Meredith backed away, trembling. From the tree's hollow, something moved. Not seen. Felt. Voices poured out now, layered, echoing, in every language she couldn't speak, and every fear she'd ever dreamed. And then, silence. Total, crushing silence. The entity watched. And then, she blinked. And the hallway was empty. No Daniel. No tree. Just humming monitors. Flickering lights. And, behind her, Sandra still lay limp. Still dreaming. Still smiling. If you enjoyed this story, leave a like or share with friends, and as always remember to subscribe for more stories.